And guess who won? The Toyota Avalon.
Of course.
Tops JD Power's dependability study. VW and Chrysler finished last, and that is surprising
Whew.
to everybody. Dana, I'm shocked about this.
I'm surprised VW is that low. Chrysler is a
I'm not.
given at this point, but
I'm not a fan of Volkswagen.
no.
So this is an article in Car Scoops by Brad Anderson. What does Brad Anderson have to say to us?
Mhm.
Toyota Avalon tops JD Power's dependability study as the most reliable vehicle in 2022. Android Auto and Apple CarPlay connectivity issues remain the biggest headache for drivers. The top performing brands include Lexus, Buick, Mazda, Toyota, Cadillac, and Chevrolet. That's what I'm talking
Damn.
about.
Representing GM. There's 3 of them there.
GM is coming
Mhm.
strong. That's what we like to see around here. All right. So they're saying for the 2022 models, I guess they're doing a 3-year study.
Mhm.
In 2022, they had a lot of issues with COVID-19. There were a lot of parts shortages. I know we all
Mhm.
remember that. Semiconductors were having problems getting out of Taiwan.
Mhm.
So they're saying dependability took a hit. Let's look at this. They analyzed the 2022 model years.
Mhm.
And on average, the industry had 202 problems per 100 vehicles. So a couple problems for every vehicle, approximately.
Mm.
That is a decline of 6% compared to 2021 model years.
Hmm.
Let's get right to the point. Who's number one? Lexus.
Wow. Nice.
Who's number
Buick
two?
in a
Buick.
close second. Interesting.
Close.
Yep.
Buick. I'm telling you, Buick's no joke, man. And that's partly due to the owners.
Mhm.
Okay. Chevy owners, I don't think they
Look at that,
take
but
care of their
Mazda in
cars.
3rd up there. So there you go, Bella.
Yeah, Mazda's number three,
Mhm.
and then Toyota right behind it. They're only separated by one problem.
Wow, look at that.
Cadillac, and then 169, then Chevrolet, also 169,
Nice.
GMC, the Porsche is your favorite car,
Oh, I
Dane.
love Porsches and
BMW,
BMWs. Yeah.
Mini, Kia, and then Honda. Look at that. Look how low Honda is, you guys. Honda has changed, I'm telling you.
Yeah. What happened, man? Honda used to always be at the top.
But then look all the way to down here is Nissan, 215.
Yuck.
Goodness gracious.
Why isn't Ford last? I figured Ford would be at the
Where
bottom
is
too.
Ford? Yeah, Ford is
They've had
just
so
below
many.
average.
They've had
Well,
so many recalls.
this is 2022, so maybe that doesn't count all the
Oh, so they're still
recalls in the
falling
last
then.
3 years. Yeah,
Yeah, things got real bad for Ford in 23 and 24.
maybe in a couple of years they'll be at the bottom.
Yeah.
And then let's see, Audi's at the bottom, Jeep, Chrysler, Volkswagen, Mitsubishi not doing so well. Acura is even worse.
Mhm.
Unbelievable. And didn't they? I don't like how they compare the different powertrains.
Mhm.
They're saying that battery electric vehicles improved, positioned them only one behind hybrid vehicles, and then gas powered vehicles as the third most reliable powertrain. Yeah,
Mhm.
I think they should separate these out more because it's kind of unfair to compare
Mhm.
a, a hybrid Toyota with, like, let's say, a hybrid Jeep. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's a very apples to oranges comparison.
Like that Chrysler minivan hybrid, it's got a lot of problems, and that might be bringing down the average unfairly
Mhm.
for better hybrid powertrains, like let's say Toyota and Lexus. Hmm. And they're saying the single most dependable vehicle was the Toyota Avalon, and that was the last year of the Avalon
Mhm.
2022. Avalon's a good vehicle, guys. A lot of old
Mhm.
people drive those too.
Mhm.
Hey, you want to hear a story for the Avalon?
Yep.
They had the Avalon. And old people loved this car. They just loved it. It's so comfortable and smooth, and
Mhm.
it just floats over bumps.
Mhm.
So old people loved it, and a lot of people loved it, not just old people. And then Consumer Reports did a story on it, and then they're like, "Oh, this Avalon is not sporty. It's not fun to drive. Oh, it's not fun." So the Toyota they really like take those Consumer Reports thing to heart, and they're
Hmm.
like, "Oh man, Toyota is good at fixing criticism, but
Hmm.
sometimes some criticism you got to ignore." Like
Right.
the Consumer Reports saying that they don't like the way the Avalon feels. So they end up making the Avalon more sporty for 1 year, and they like, "Oh, we gotta fix it for Consumer Reports." And then you know what? All the people that bought the Avalon, they said, "What did you do to the Avalon? Why doesn't it feel like it used to feel? Change it back."
Right. It's like putting an electric motor in the Charger.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. So
no, I want my boat to float down the highway. I don't want some sporty, sharp
I
cornering
know
thing.
not every car.
Yeah.
You sometimes you got to ignore Consumer Reports 'cause they say a lot of smart things, but sometimes they like, "Oh, this car." They'll criticize anything. They'll be like, "Oh, this is a Lamborghini, but you know what? It's hard to get in and out of." Like, who cares? It's a freaking Lamborghini. Of course,
Yeah,
it's
it's
gonna be hard
supposed
to
to
get
be.
out
It's about
of.
the driving experience, not the getting in and out of experience.
Yeah, so you gotta ignore them sometimes. Sometimes you gotta take exactly what they say and do it, but sometimes you just be like, "Look, this is our Avalon. This is the way the customers want it, and this is the way we're gonna keep it, and no, it don't have to be fun to drive.
Yeah, a lot
Fun
of these
enough."
vehicles are built by manufacturers for a purpose. So, for example, your Buick is built for floating down the highway. It is
Mhm.
not built for going to the autocross on the weekend. So, if you start complaining to Buick saying, I want to handle like a Mazda Miata, it ain't
I
gonna
know.
happen. And
Yeah,
if Buick
no.
starts to do that, it's gonna ruin what the Buick is, and vice
Exactly.
versa. If you start complaining, Hey, this little Miata, it corners too sharp, and I need it to run better, smoother down the highway, like more like a Buick." Well, then you ruin what the car is. That's not what it was designed and made to do. So, if you have that kind of complaint about a vehicle, you're just in the wrong vehicle.
Yeah, yes, they gotta think about that at Consumer Reports. What does the
Hmm.
core buyer for this vehicle want? Like, for example, I'm doing a video on the Honda, HR-V,
Hmm.
and some people were criticizing it, saying, "Oh, it's not fast enough. Oh, it's the engine is too slow. This Mazda engine with the turbo is faster. That's more fun to drive." I'm like, "Look, this is a Honda. Don't be pressuring them to put any more turbos on anything. They need to keep that regular, naturally aspirated engine that's in there in there.
Hmm.
Don't listen. Don't listen to them, Honda. Keep
Yep.
that regular engine in that HRV. Leave it the way it is. Don't
Right.
need to be fast."
The core buyer doesn't know any different, right? They don't know that it's slow compared to their stuff. They haven't been in their stuff. They don't care. They just
Okay,
want their
fast
little
enough.
box to go down the road and have all wheel drive. That's all they care about.
Exactly. So,
Yeah.
all right, let's get back to this thing. They're saying a lot of the problems are from like the what's it called? The connectivity issues and problems with the Apple CarPlay and Android Auto.
Mm.
And that is a real concern that seems difficult to put a handle on. When I was testing vehicles, they were telling us to be like, look, we got to figure out how we could find these problems with the the Bluetooth and connecting the phones and everything. And it's difficult because when we're looking at other problems, when you find a problem, you know that this is you. Like this
Hmm.
is a Toyota's problem with this vehicle. When you're doing the stuff for Bluetooth, it's difficult to know if it's a problem with the software from Apple
Hmm.
or Android. Is it a problem with the phone? Is it a problem with the user? Is it a problem with the software update that's on the phone? Maybe that needs this new software update.
Hmm.
So these problems are hard to figure out and they're hard to pin down.
Hmm.
And I don't know. Uh, we weren't able to find that many problems
Right.
with it.
Yeah, that's like yeah,
It's a
that's kind of a
difficult
weird
thing to
one.
test
It is.
for
Yeah.
an automotive OEM. I think maybe they should bring in some people that test phones specifically and learn from them how exactly you find the problems and what do you do about them.
Hmm. Yeah, that would make sense. I have no input here. This is so far out of my realm of what I what I know about when it comes
Yeah,
to like the CarPlay and those systems. That's where I'm the stupidest on all car stuff.
it was hard because sometimes is supposed to automatically pair, and then you
Mhm.
you get in, and then maybe another phone, if another family member comes in, and the phones knock each other off. This
Mhm.
is a difficult thing to fix, and I think they should, at Consumer Reports, they should separate the vehicle problems from the Bluetooth connectivity problems because, you know,
It
I
doesn't
think
seem
they're
like a
different.
vehicle problem to me. It's more like a software thing than an actual like vehicle. When I think vehicle problem, I think of hard parts.
Yeah, it's in the vehicle, but still, I think they should separate them out. You should still measure them, but I think
Mhm.
they should be separated because
Right.
it might be giving me an inaccurate perception of the vehicle's reliability. To me, when I'm thinking reliability, I'm thinking, does the thing start? Does the check engine light come on? I'm not
Exactly.
thinking like, oh no, I got in the car, but my son's phone knocked my phone off the Bluetooth and it took a little bit longer to pair.
Right.
Like, I couldn't give a you know what about that.
Yeah, who cares?
But it is important to some people, so it should still be measured.
Mhm.
I don't know. That's what I think about that. Dane doesn't care about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, yeah, I have the,
Well, he cares, but he don't know what to do.
yeah, it's just not that big of a deal to me. I mean, I've got it to where, auto pairs in my 2017 Chevy pickup that I mostly daily. Um, it pairs, and sometimes I start the truck and it doesn't, and I got to pull my phone out, hit the pair button, and then it's good again. But I don't know. It's just if it didn't do it regularly, I don't know if I'd care.
Yeah.
I'd figure something else out.
So there we go.